Hello everyone and welcome to the review of the Techzone audio products Stellar X2. Now, full disclaimer, I am not sponsored for this video, but this microphone was set into review. So, with that disclaimer out of the way, let's get to the intro and get into the video. Okay, so the Techzone Stellar X2 is primarily more well known in America than it is over here in the UK. So the Techzone Stellar X2 is a pretty nice microphone. Starting straight off the bat, as you can see, presentation wise, straight out of the box, it's actually really nice. You come with a very nice handy travel case, flight case, whatever you want to go ahead and call one of these. Inside, of course, its own carton, which then comes in a master carton. You know, the whole business of being pretty well packed. Obviously, that's got its foam inside there, so you can put this in nice and tight. Don't have to worry about it getting damaged if you're transporting it from place to place, which I have a feeling is going to be the niche for this microphone, whereas microphones such as the infamous, well, it's more like famous, Shure SM7B, whilst it's a brilliant microphone, it's not really known for being mobile. It takes quite a bit to set up, and you know, it's not the kind of thing you'd want to carry around with you. However, on the other hand, then you've got stuff like the Stellar X2, which, for me at least, whilst it is sold as a studio mic, it feels more like a portable microphone for a mobile studio rather than a solid studio like this. Also, I'm going to be using it throughout this review so you can hear how it sounds. So straight off the bat, brilliant for portability. Nice case, it's relatively light. I mean, it's a very dense microphone. This is way heavier than it actually looks despite its size. But generally speaking, it's quite nice, easy to carry, great stuff. Moving on to how it actually is. It is a cardioid microphone, so of course it's got our favourite pattern, the cardioid polar pattern, meaning that towards the back there's no sound. As you get around to the front and then back around, you have a very wide area at the front which you can go ahead and speak into, and at the back it won't hear anything. For example, I'm going to talk into the front of the microphone here, as you can hear, and then talking into the back of the microphone here, which should hopefully be a little bit quieter to demonstrate my point. At the time of review, this is I think at £280 in the UK, or about $220, $250 in the US, so pretty expensive. Not as expensive as, of course, the SM7B, but it's also not as cheap as something like an AT2020, which you might want to compare it to, because this is also a condenser microphone. Brief recap of what condenser is versus dynamic. Condenser microphones, they require 48 volts of phantom power to go ahead and actually power the microphone, and they pick up quite a lot of noise. They're known for being quite bright, and getting into that, picking up a lot of noise, a bit of a downside to this microphone. Whilst it is a brilliant microphone for actual clarity, it does, however, pick up a lot of noise in the room. If you are using this microphone, you really do want to be in a very quiet environment. You know, something like a studio, pretty ideal. Portable, you could make use of it, but you'd have to, of course, work with the audio in post, which could be a bit harder to deal with. So do keep that in mind if you're picking this microphone up. It will pick up literally every sound that you make, whether you're stepping off into the distance or someone's closing a door in the office next to you. It will pick up some noise, so it's very hard to go ahead and get this to be a quiet microphone. And of course, dynamic microphone means that it doesn't require any power, but it's really quiet anyway, so it doesn't pick up too much noise, but it picks up very high quality what it does. But this condenser microphone, so it'll pick up everything in the room. As you can see, it sounds pretty nice. You know, you can hear it. You're listening to it right now. It sounds pretty nice. It does perform pretty well. Yeah, the whole picking up noise, I'm just going to give you a bit of a feedback on how it is here. So here I am, about 6-8 inches away. Moving back about a foot, you can hear how it sounds now. I'm still talking the same volume, so you can go ahead and hear the difference. I would go further back, but something tells me that putting my head through a TV probably isn't the smartest idea right now. Onto the actual package that you get, of course, already gone over, it comes in its nice flight case. It will come with a shock mount, which is, of course, a very nice to have, and definitely a necessity on a microphone like this, because a hard mount or even a not as shocky shock mount like the on the Shure SM7B, any sort of solid mounts, it's really not going to work with this microphone. It does really require a proper shock mount, as it does come with the box. And of course, it includes a very nice pop filter slash windshield, whatever you want to go ahead and call these. This is really a windshield, which is no reason why I say it's better for portability. You might be better off getting a pop filter for this, depending on your use case, of course. Now, overall for comparison, I am probably going to be comparing this more to the SM7B than my AT2020 that I used to have. Why? Because the actual microphone itself is more relatable to the SM7B. Now, the Shure SM7 came out, I think, the mid-1970s, and it uses its own very nice capsule for capturing audio. By comparison though, the Stellar X2 actually uses a modified Neumann U47, which won't mean anything to a vast majority of people, but the original U47 came out, I think, about the 1940s and 50s. It's the kind of capsule that would have been the microphones that people like Frank Sinatra used. So, hence the reason why I'm comparing it to the Shure, because whilst they're two different microphone technologies and they're relatively close in price, the actual age of the hardware that's in them is quite more relatable than you'd first think just looking at it. It looks like a standard modern microphone when really it holds something that's kind of special. The reason why it might have a bit of a retro sound to it is because, well, it's quite literally using a modified retro capsule, which I personally think is pretty cool they're actually doing that. This might be a possible choice for enthusiasts who want a more radio-y sound from like the 1950s versus more of a broadcast sound, AM versus FM, whatever you want to go ahead and say it. It has its benefits, it has its issues, of course. And of course that all comes down to you. What do you need it for? Now, would I recommend this microphone? That's a different thing entirely, because it, like I've said, depends on what you're doing. If you're doing a studio, I wouldn't actually say don't get this microphone. It's a very good microphone. If you don't want to go through the whole kerfuffle of having to get a dynamic microphone, getting all the inline preamps and all that lot, and you just want a very solid, very good condenser microphone, you've got tons of acoustic foam or whatever, and you don't need to worry about additional audio in the room, this is a very good microphone for that kind of purpose, because it covers a lot of your bases. You don't have to worry about, oh, is it going to be too quiet, is it going to be too loud. It's very easy to adjust the gain on this. I've currently got this on the same gain that I use with my SM7B with the inline preamp, so you can go ahead and hear how this sounds right now. So there you have it, the Stellar X2. It's a very good microphone. It's got a very nice crisp sound. It picks up a lot of noise, so you do have to be mindful of that with the environment that you're using it in, but it's a really nice microphone. The price, it's a little pricey, I'm not gonna lie. At £280, this wouldn't be the thing that I'd personally consider. But that's because of the environment that I use. If I did have my own whole studio and that lot, that wasn't a conversion of a bedroom, then I probably would go for this microphone, because, it's still £105 cheaper than this, or if you're in the US, it's closer to like $200, $250 cheaper. It is a pretty good option for, saving money, which is generally something that, you always want to do. You don't want to have to buy the single most expensive thing only to find out it's honestly not worth the single most expensive thing price tag. So it is a good microphone. Quite happy with it. I'm probably not going to use this in this studio, but that whole portability niche, which I've alluded to earlier on, I honestly think that this is probably going to take over the role of my AT2020, which is the microphone which I use with this PC. Because whenever that PC is travelling, I need a microphone to take with it, and I really do not want to be taking this with me, because this thing is a pain to set up, and it's hard to find, a tripod or something that will actually take the weight of it. Like, this is a chunky microphone down there, whereas this isn't. So it's definitely got its great use cases for when you do need to be on the move, or when you do have a very quiet studio or stuff like that. It's a brilliant choice. If you are wanting to spend a bit more money, I'd definitely say go for the Shure SM7. But at $200 to $300, well, $200 to £300, I'd say it's actually a very competitive choice. Now, obviously, there may be better options out in the market. I can't test every microphone that, is out there, because, of course, I need to actually have every microphone that is out there, / rent them, which I'm probably not going to do. But from my experience of multiple microphones so far, this is actually a really competitive choice. It's priced well. Yeah, and that's where we'll go ahead and leave it for today. So, like if you like it, dislike if you dislike it, any thoughts or questions, leave a comment down below. Don't forget to check out my Discord, because lots of tech stuff going on there, as well as some hints to what might be happening in future videos. Hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and well, I'll see you all in the next one. Until then, ta-ra, take care folks.